Welcome to the October 2023 Las Vegas Real Estate Report. In this video, I'm going to cover the September Las Vegas area key housing stats, give you my current assessment of what is going on in our local housing market, what's up with inventory, a little explanation about that, as well as hello, mortgage interest rates hit 8% this month. And I'm going to continue to talk about where we think are some of the best opportunities, and that's in new builds and the special financing programs and abilities to negotiate right now, especially since it's closing in on the end of 2023. My name is Jan O'Brien, along with my co-team leader, Cosmo Marabi. You can follow us on social or subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching this video. We're on TikTok. We have two channels, Living Las Vegas, and one that's just at Las Vegas, New Homes, where it's all new home tours. We also put those over on our main channel, along with what's happening in the market on a weekly basis, and just a ton of information about Las Vegas real estate and cool places and things to do here in Las Vegas. And we're also on Instagram at Living Las Vegas Henderson. We have a great team of local area experienced experts. We're covering all parts of the valley, including Pahrump and Boulder City, all parts of the Las Vegas area proper as well. Just make sure you reach out to anybody who sent this video to you. We're here for all your Las Vegas Valley real estate needs. All right, let's jump in and talk about what happened with median sales prices last month. And I'm reporting again on September 23 statistics in just single family homes. We do this every single month. 450,000 is what the median sales price was in September, which happens to be exactly what it was a year ago in September 2022. Let's look at this chart quickly. I've got all of 2022 and 23. I like showing this to give you perspective of where we've come from and where we are now. And as you can see, we're pretty much been around 450, slightly a little lower last month for the last 3 months. Okay. And it was lower as we moved all the way down, but let's put perspective on this and talk about back in May of 2022, we hit a historical high for Las Vegas single family homes, 482,000, and something happened. And that something that happened at the end of May, beginning of June, was interest rates went over 6%. And this tells the part of the story of what happened. Prices went down month over month until the end of the year because two things happened. People that were buying said, whoa, we're going to put ourselves on the sidelines for a little while and see what happens. And sellers who had sub 4 interest rates, which, by the way, there's almost 71% of people with mortgages in this country that have a 4% or lower interest rate. So just picture that. And if you're one of those sellers, you're not moving unless you have to, because you don't want to pay interest rates. Even back then, it was 6. Now we're at 8. Okay, so we went down. We hit 425 at the end of December, which happens to be what it was at the end of 2021, which erased all the gains that we had basically through the year. We were flat for the first quarter, and then people started to say, well, maybe I'm going to jump back in, and some people put their homes on the market and more people purchased, and that created the prices to go up a little bit here, and we're staying flat right around 450. What else happened? Units sold 1821, that's down 10% year over year. New listings year over year down 27%, and inventory, meaning what was available at the end of that month of September last month, it was down 50% of what was available a year ago. All right, let's look at those a little deeper. So new listings, just again, perspective. This is all the way back from 2016. You can see how much real estate is really a cycle in these charts. But here we are in 2022, and we're comparing in that last chart what the numbers were for all of these items for last year. And you can see where we're half of listings right here. And then in available inventory, same thing. There was more inventory last year. And now, even as we got into the end of the year, look where we are now. Number of closings went significantly down in 2022, as just mentioned, because people stopped buying homes as many as were when the interest rates were in the 4s and 5s. And then it peaked up a little bit again here. And here's just another version of that chart, except it's historically back to 2016, showing, that normal healthy appreciation year over year until we hit the unicorn years, I call them now, the pandemic years, where the interest rates, short-term rate went down to 0, and mortgage interest rates went down to where they were, and creating, not enough inventory, creating all kinds of people wanting to buy homes, creating all the prices to to increase right here. Then it leveled off, and there we are again. All right, so why is inventory so low? I talked about a little bit about just now, and I covered this in our last month's report, but it's so important. I want to just really cover it again to continue to give the perspective. So one part of the equation is how national home builders are building. This chart shows since 1970 the number of new single family housing units that have been completed. So you've got an average unit line here, which we're just getting back to right now after 14 straight years of builders building below. Now, part of all this has to do with right here when we had the crash, we had the foreclosure crisis. Well, they stopped building as many homes, and then slowly it's taken all this time to get back to what needs to be the healthy amount of homes based on demand. So it's going to take a minute for that to catch up. So whether we had the pandemic or not, we would have had issues with inventory just for this one reason alone, not enough new builds in the country. Luckily here in Las Vegas, we have a lot more new home builders than in a lot of parts of the country, which I'll get to in a moment about where are the opportunities to buy in new homes. Okay, what else? I just mentioned 70.7% of mortgage rates are less than 4%. So it's creating a lock-in effect where sellers are like, I don't want to move. Why would I move and give up my 3.75% interest rate for now an 8% interest rate and more than double my payment? And that there you have the biggest reasons, for why we don't have as much inventory. Now, this also shows that people are staying in their homes longer. 6.1 years from this time period from 85 to 2009, and then the last 12 years, 9.3 years. Very interesting, which obviously, given these couple of years, this will go up a little bit over time as well. So what's up with mortgage rates? Well, here again, let's look at it, giving perspective from 2012. All right, so we can see how rates move up and down. Here are those unicorn years, right, where we were in the threes, and you could, if you did a 15-year mortgage, you could have a 2-point-something% interest rate. And then right here, same idea. This is what happened. Interest rates started going up because inflation went up. And here we are. We had a little dip again. Then we had it hit up here around a little over 7. People freaked out. Then it kind of came down a little bit, and now we hit 8. All right. This chart here just shows for the last historical day by day since 925. The red just means it went up from the previous day, and the greens mean it went down from the previous day, how much. And this is from Mortgage News Daily. I like to use this as an index to compare one thing, and why I like it is they do a national survey daily where some of the others do a weekly survey, and things are so volatile that a report that's a week old is not giving you the real data. So this is a daily index, and it's based on national lenders that are surveyed daily, and it's no points. Now, when I say it's 7.9% on 1024, you could get a lower interest rate, but you're going to have to pay points. This is with 0 points. What's going to happen with interest rates? That all depends on what happens in our economy and what's happening in the world and what's happening with inflation. So if you've been following this, you know the Fed's goal is to get the inflation rate down to 2%. It's being stubborn because we're being resilient as consumers. We're still out there buying things, including homes, maybe not as many as we had, but people are still buying, and they're buying goods and services and paying them crazy gas prices. And yes, it's probably creating challenges in a lot of people's lives at the moment. However, we're still doing it. And what the Fed wants is to people to stop buying things, just put it on a high level, stop buying things. And then the jobs reports come out and show that things are good on jobs. Economy's looking good. Well, that's not good for the Fed, because that just means from their perspective, it's not getting inflation under control. So they're going to continue to put these restrictions on and these interest rate hikes to get us to a place where, yes, it's counterintuitive, where we stop buying things and people lose more jobs, and then maybe the interest rate comes down because inflation comes down, and then we get back into a cycle of buying again, and there you have it. But the fact is, the rates are where they are. So it is important to know, if you're thinking of buying or selling, to work with a professional real estate agent or team that is really going to understand where and how we negotiate for you. So let's talk about opportunities for sellers. So you may very well be that seller, like most sellers are saying, I'm not giving up my house, and I get it. But if you're in a position where you've got to sell or you're being relocated, there are some opportunities right now, especially if your home is in great condition. And if it's an older home and you've updated it and it looks good, trust me, this is a very mixed market for resales. Properties that look good for the people that are out there buying sell quickly, and they generally get multiple offers. Now, properties that need work and you're trying to push that price, you're going to have people come in and want to offer lower, and we have to be realistic. So the bottom line is we would really need to talk to you and talk about the market specifically for your area, what's going on, and how to price it right, depending on what your goals are. Okay. Now, there are opportunities if you want to take advantage of what I'm going to talk about next, which is buyer opportunities. But I get it. Most sellers are going to hold on to their home and until the interest rates come down, which is what we hear all the time. We talk to so many people on a daily and weekly basis. And I would say the majority of them are like, well, we're going to wait and see and buy when the interest rates come down, or when the prices come down, or when the market crashes. Now, newsflash, based on everything I've just been talking about, and we talk about every month, and Cosmo handles on a weekly basis on our TikTok channel, we're not going to see a market crash anytime soon. I know you see the headlines sometimes, and again, it's clickbait. It's like, gosh, for a year plus now, people on YouTube and so forth have been talking about the impending market crash. Well, there's a lot of reasons why we're not going to have the market crash. It's not like it was in 2008. People have a lot of equity. Back then we didn't. People had 80-20 loans. They got 100% financing. And there were a lot of bad loans where people were not going to be able to perform if anything shifted, or there were a lot of adjustable rate mortgages. We're in a different time now. People do have equity. It would take it could happen, a cataclysmic kind of an event that would cause the prices to come down so far that people would lose all that equity, and or have something happen where people don't have any more money and they're lost their jobs. I mean, that's what it would take to have the market to crash, because of all the reasons I've just been talking about it. And even if everybody put their homes back on the market, there's so many people sitting on the sidelines, including investors, that I think it can be absorbed into the market. There'd have to be a huge dump of inventory. I mean, a huge dump of inventory to make the prices come down. And that because we'd have to have so much inventory that we didn't have enough buyers to buy it, that would cause the prices to come down. All right. So the thing I like to talk to folks about is, if you're thinking of buying right now and you're one of those people waiting on the sidelines, this is the deal. Every market has issues. You can understand what the issues and challenges are in this market, and we can talk about what they're going to be when different things happen. For example, the interest rates come down. So let me explain. So right now, the opportunity for a buyer is to negotiate a better price, terms, and even get some kind of a buy down on your interest rate, so you don't have an 8% interest rate. Maybe you have a 5.5% or a 6% or a 6.5% interest rate, and maybe you get the seller to cover your closing costs, or maybe we even get a percentage off of your sale price. Those are the opportunities right now, because so many people are waiting. Now let's fast forward to sometime in the future, who knows when that is, where the interest rates are down under 5% again. And all these people that have been sitting on the sideline, including investors and most buyers, and in some sellers waiting and most sellers, what am I saying? To come for the prices, not the prices, the interest rates to come down. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's back in the market. Yes, maybe the inventory kicks up, but not enough to cause prices to come down. Now we're back into a new set of issues and challenges in that market. And that is, I'm going to get a better interest rate. However, I'm not going to be able to negotiate a deal, because I'm going to be one of, if you remember back, I don't think it'll be as bad as it was in the pandemic, clearly, because there was no inventory. But it won't be as bad as that, where there are 50 offers on a house and everybody's getting beat out by cash. But somewhere on that spectrum is where it's going to be. There are going to be a lot of people trying to buy the same homes, and they're negotiating, and it becomes a strong seller's market. Right now, it's a mixed market. It becomes a strong seller's market because the seller's going to pick what's best for them, and that's generally cash. And if you're an FHA buyer, you're going to be out the door. This is what happened last time. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to write so many offers. You're going to have to come in at or above list, maybe waive your appraisals. That's a picture of a potential future where the interest rates are low and everybody wants to buy again. Demand goes sky high, inventory ticks up a little bit, maybe, a lot, but there's enough demand to eat up all those houses. Okay. So problem now, problem later. If you can think about purchasing right now, the opportunities in new homes are huge because there are some, not all builders who are wanting to get rid of the inventory that they have. We're already seeing prices come down and incentives like these. A 2-1 buy down at a builder that just picked this up today. 3.5 the first year, 4.5 the second year, then 5.5 fixed for year 3 through 30. Now you're not paying for that program, the builder is. And in some cases, we're able to get deals like this, or 5.5% fixed, 5.75 on a conventional, or 5.875 on a conventional rate that the builder is covering that cost. We might even be able to still get closing costs covered. It just depends on the builder, and you need to be working with someone who knows where those deals are. And guess what? We do know where those deals are. We are new home specialists here, and we can help you not only with new homes, but with resales. We are in contract right now with sellers where we are getting, $12,000 in closing costs covered for our buyer. They can use that to buy the interest rate down. So there are opportunities now so that you're not paying 8%, you're getting something else. And then if you believe and you're comfortable with that payment and you believe the interest rates will go lower, then you can refinance when they go lower, if and when they go lower than what you could get right now based on us negotiating for you. So I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to be able to cover that idea of what's really happening and where are the opportunities. And I'm concerned for people who, are thinking that it's going to be so much better later. Yeah, I think the interest rates are going to come down, but then I think there's going to be so much competition that the same, you'll get a nice interest rate, but you might have to pay more for a home, which means the prices will go up even further than they are now. So it's all about your goals. And that's why you should reach out to us. Let us sit down. Right now might not be the best time for you to buy. It could be later. You might want to wait to sell. Honestly, you might want to wait to sell until we have the situation I just described where everybody's bidding on your house. Now you're going to have that same problem, right? There's never a perfect scenario. If you're the seller who waits for the interest rates to come down, you can probably get a great deal on your house, but now you're going to jump into the buyer pool, and guess what? You're going to have to pay for a house, a higher price, and you're going to have to negotiate and be in that frenzy and that chaos. But hey, you'll have a better interest rate. All right, that does it for this month. Thanks for watching. If you watched all the way to the end and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and we'll see you next month on the Las Vegas Real Estate Update.